I think within the next few months, we will start to see a lot of things accelerate away from the dollar, away from the West. And I think this country is not in position to handle what that really means because we are so massively in debt. We have so little in terms of assets. You know, the Brics Bank has officially announced a 3-year de-dollarization plan, and it's what they're going to do is lend and transact in local currencies until they come out with their common settlement currency. And this is being done to, I guess, diminish the number of transactions that are done in US dollars.
Right.
In the next 5-year cycle, the report card of Brics Plus will be much better placed as compared to the last many decades of G7. Several leaders are looking up to countries within the current Brics grouping to steer the path to a better multilateral world order. Andy highlights a significant shift in global finance as Brics nations work to reduce reliance on the US dollar. The latest summit of the Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa bloc of nations, held in August 2023, has sparked conversations across the globe, including in Africa where resentment of Western hegemony runs deep. Brics presents a real challenge to Western dominance, particularly the US. Its expansion and ambitions signify a tectonic shift in the global balance of power. The fate of the petrodollar is a complex and evolving issue. While it may not be entirely dead, there are significant challenges to its dominance. Andy also mentions the global leaders' call for financial reforms and Brics nation divestment from U.S. treasuries, signaling a shift in the world order. China's holdings of U.S. treasuries fell to a 6-month low in July, just as a trade war between the world's two largest economies began heating up. Andy discusses the impending illegality of trading in dollars in Iraq and the financial repercussions of the 2003 invasion. Iraq will ban cash withdrawals and transactions in U.S. dollars as of January 1, 2024 in the latest push to curb the misuse of its hard currency reserves in financial crimes and the evasion of U.S. sanctions on Iran, a top Iraqi central bank official said. Now, we present the clips of AndySchectman's insights from his recent interview with Silver Slayer. Before we continue to delve into this discussion, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
Putin came out and said that he's calling for an alliance to reform the global finance system. You know, the Brics dumped 123 billion in U.S. treasuries over the past several months this year. And, you know, you're talking China, Brazil, India, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. They're all dumping our bonds. Currently, Brics now holds over 50% of the global oil production. And now you got Macron from France. Even our allies are saying that the world order is changing and the situation is getting more complicated, and which runs the risk of weakening the West and Europe in particular. He's saying that the Ukraine war is not Europe's war, that you know, they're also looking for it to be a trusted partner on the geopolitical front. I mean, I thought they were part of the G7, evidently.
I was about to say, what about the G7?
They're trying to pick sides, no question about it. But look, you know, you got Argentina, who now is joining. They're the largest producer of natural gas in South America, and they control the Straits of Magellan, the very important shipping lanes. You got Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Egypt, and Iran with the oil production, and the Straits of Hormuz, the fastest growing economy in Africa with Ethiopia. Well, these are the new countries that have joined. There are 22 countries that have already expressed interest in joining next year. You know, it's happening slowly, methodically. They're doing it the right way. And that's kind of the problem here, is that people expect things to happen too quickly.
Yeah,
of course it does.
Yeah, and
get this one real quick. So, you know, we talked a little bit about this last time, I think, where, you know, Iraq was invaded 20 years ago. Last year, you know, well, we go in there under the guise of weapons of mass destruction. Sorry, we didn't find any, no consequences, right? Yeah. January 1st, 2024, trading in dollars will be completely illegal. It's already illegal if you are a business owner. Not illegal.
I was going to say,
they'll be gone. They'll be gone.
Okay.
You won't be able to find dollars. All the banks, there will be no dollars in Iraq. There'll be no dollars in the banks. But it is illegal to trade if you own a business in Iraq. And if you do, and you are doing business in dollars, they will put you in jail and confiscate your business. But
Wow.
last year in 2022, Iraq made $90 billion in oil revenue. And all of that money is sitting in an account at the New York Fed. And the Fed is kind of like the parent doling out the allowance. Instead of them being able to control their own finances, they're not allowed to do that. So they come in, they destroy the country, they topple the regime, they sanction 16 of their banks right now for trying to trade with Iranian banks to purchase natural gas so they can cool their homes in the 130-degree summer heat.
Right.
And all of the money that they made in the oil revenue is trapped at the New York Fed. So they asked them last week, can we have $1 billion, please? They said no. So they're like, fuck you. And January 1st, there will be no more dollars offered in the country of Iraq. And, this is why we're hated.
The price of silver has performed well in the past year. It dropped below the psychological threshold of $19 per troy ounce, falling to below $18 in late September 2022. However, it began 2023 at $24 and has since risen by over 5%. Andy highlights that those who become upset when silver prices fall may not fully understand its role or may hold it for the wrong reasons. Gold and silver are two of the most popular and effective inflation hedges because they are tangible assets that maintain their purchasing power over time. This perspective encourages taking a long-term and macroeconomic approach rather than being discouraged by short-term price fluctuations. Schectman also underscores the counterintuitive nature of silver's price behavior, which is influenced by powerful entities accumulating it while a few central commercial banks suppress its price.
And the people who get upset when silver falls don't understand it, or they own it for the wrong reasons. Right. And you have a little girl, she's just a few years old, and if I were you, I would be accumulating silver every chance I get and hope to heaven I never need to use it. If I do, not just for an emergency, could be a hell of an opportunity, maybe. Maybe it's to put your kid through college, maybe it's to pay for a wedding, maybe who knows what it's for. Silver and gold are two of the only forms of insurance that you can collect on without an event happening. You don't have to get into a car wreck or watch your house burn down. You can collect on it for an opportunity or an emergency. And if not, you are leaving a lasting legacy for your heirs. That's how I feel about it. And if you look at it in that micro perspective, oh, geez, it's down 50 cents today. Yeah, it can be frustrating. It can be disheartening, even for looking at it through a macro perspective, because it's very counterintuitive to the way it should be. But ask yourself, if it's so counterintuitive to the way it should be, if the biggest money in the world is accumulating it while the 4 or 5 central commercial banks suppress the price, and we know that to be the case, then is it more important? Because why are they suppressing it? And why are the big sovereign governments around the world standing for delivery, draining the exchanges, playing, using the ninjutsu move, the leverage of the Western suppression against us? These are the bigger questions. Looking at just the price action, as we've said on your show, I don't know how many times, it is the greatest tool of misdirection. Well, if it's such in short demand, man, then why is it so cheap? Why isn't the price going up? And that's why it's such an effective tool. Because they are able to control people's emotions by controlling the price. And emotions are much more of a motivating factor to most people than logic is. And, we're motivated by fear and greed, and fear being the strongest motivator. So people come in because they're greedy and they want to make money. Oh, everyone's talking about this being so undervalued, and then it loses value. Counterintuitively, they get scared. They sell. Motivation is everything, and the people pulling the strings understand this. But what they really didn't count for when they started suppressing the price is that half of the world would say, fine, we'll play your game, but we'll stand for delivery. And that is why there is a shortage up on the large exchanges.
COMEX.
But it doesn't register with people, because I am saying best availability, lowest premiums we've had in years. Well, it hasn't trickled down yet. It will. And I'm very consistent. When will it happen? I think it'll happen when the next bank failure happens and the bank is bailed in.
The BRICS nations are likely to outperform the G7 and are increasingly reducing their reliance on the US dollar. This shift challenges Western dominance, particularly that of the United States, and signifies a significant rebalancing of global power. What are your thoughts on the changing dynamics in global finance? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to show your support towards our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the next video.